In the boundless void where fate twists like drifting smoke, the path of immortality grows ever more treacherous. Wang Lin walks alone beneath a darkened sky, burdened by karma, hunted by unseen forces, and tempered by trials that would shatter lesser souls. The echoes of past battles have yet to fade, and the fragile balance between life and death trembles on the edge of collapse. In the previous turning of destiny, powerful enemies closed in, their killing intent stretching across realms, while ancient secrets stirred beneath the surface. Every step forward demanded a price, and every choice carved deeper scars into Wang Lin's Tao heart. Now, as we enter Renegade Immortal Chapter 687, Chapter 688, the storm gathers once more. Old grudges awaken, new dangers emerge, and the heavens themselves seem to watch in silence. Will Wang Lin defy the tides of fate yet again, or will this chapter mark a turning point from which there is no return? The legend continues, but at what cost? Before the heavens could steady themselves, before the earth could even remember its own breath, Wang Lin found himself standing at the edge of a power so vast, it defied all reason. This was not the first time his eyes had witnessed the tearing of a soul from existence. Long ago, within the forbidden reaches of the demon spirit land, he had seen the entity known as greed unleash a terrifying art, ripping the very soul from a celestial mountain. That moment had shaken him to his core, leaving behind a scar of awe and fear. Even then, he understood. Such techniques were not meant for ordinary cultivators. They belonged to beings who walked beyond the limits of heaven and earth. And yet now as his own body was seized and commanded by the scattered devil, Wang Lin felt something far more profound unfold. What he experienced this time surpassed that memory by countless orders of magnitude. In this vast world, everything carried life. Even the smallest blade of grass, even a drifting grain of dust, possessed something unseen yet undeniable, a soul. These souls could not be grasped by the eye. They lingered beyond sight, yet pressed heavily upon perception. When a mortal gazes upon a towering mountain, they feel awe, pressure, a suffocating grandeur. What they see is stone and earth. What they feel is the mountain's soul. And if even mountains and rivers held such essence, then how could a cultivation planet saturated with boundless spiritual energy be any different? But this time, something was wrong. When spiritual energy was stripped away, the land would tremble, collapse, cry out in ruin. Yet now, there was no trembling. Instead, an ancient presence stirred. It rose slowly, quietly, like a sleeping titan opening its eyes after an eternity of slumber. This aura was not born from mere centuries or millennia. It had accumulated over endless ages, devoid of joy, untouched by sorrow. It carried only one thing: inclusion. Everything that had ever existed upon this planet, every life, every breath had been embraced within it. And now that ancient essence gathered. Under the scattered devil's control, Wang Lin's right hand extended outward. Energy surged wildly into his palm. In a blink, it condensed into a dense, swirling gray mist. The ancient aura merged into it relentlessly, compressing, tightening, until thunderous explosions erupted from within the mist itself. Boom, boom, boom. Each pulse felt like the roar of creation, and in that moment, Wang Lin sensed something horrifying. It was as if the entire thousand illusion planet had begun to die. Grass withered, rivers vanished, mountains cracked open like broken bones. Life itself seemed to be drained away, funneled into that single mass of gray mist. Holding the condensed soul of the planet in his grasp, the scattered devil laughed, a chilling, triumphant sound. Then, without hesitation, he surged forward, like lightning splitting the sky. He charged toward the celestial figure. At that instant, Wang Lin felt an indescribable connection. His body? No, it was no longer just his. It had fused with the soul of the entire planet. This attack, it was not his power. It was the might of a world. Across from him, the celestial figure stepped forward as well. All the spiritual energy of Thousand Illusion Planet transformed into celestial force, gathered within it. With a simple wave of its hand, it advanced. Two unimaginable forces, two supreme spells, closed the distance, and then they collided. Boom, boom, boom. The heavens roared. The earth screamed. At that very moment, nearly 40% of the planet's spirit veins collapsed instantly. The shockwaves tore outward in every direction, devastating everything in their path. The Huan family members below were forced into immediate retreat. Panic surged through them. They activated every ounce of spiritual and celestial energy within their bodies, desperately resisting the overwhelming pressure. Without it, their bodies would shatter into nothingness. Above them, the celestial figure trembled. Then it collapsed. Its form dissolved into smoke, dispersing into the void. At the instant of its complete disappearance, a piece of jade emerged. Crack, crack, crack. The jade began to fracture. Before the eyes of the Huan family, it shattered into dust. Yet in that fleeting moment, a streak of white light burst forth. It expanded rapidly, forming a luminous barrier that covered a radius of 5 kilometers. Beneath this barrier, the Huan family's ancestors stood pale as death. Their lineage had always carried a final warning. If the jade ever shattered, a final defensive spell would remain, but it was weak, pitifully weak. Its sole purpose was to buy time, time to flee, time to surrender, time to choose death, time to speak final words. Outside the barrier, the scattered devil's hand trembled slightly. The soul of Thousand Illusion Planet dissipated from his grasp. The ancient aura returned, sinking back into the land, vanishing as if it had never appeared. And in all of this chaos, the greatest beneficiary was Wang Lin. This battle, these techniques, they existed far beyond his current realm. They were not meant for him to witness. Yet he had not only witnessed them, he had experienced them from within. Both the celestial figure and the scattered devil possessed the power of second step cultivators. To Wang Lin, it was as if a sealed door within his path had been forced open. Not fully, but enough. A crack had formed. Through that crack, he glimpsed a higher world. He felt it, touched it. The second step, this is the true power of the second step. Compared to beings like greed, the Huan ancestor, Xianxia, it became clear they had merely stepped into this realm, but what he had just witnessed was something far more terrifying. His mind shook violently. This single experience, gifted to him through the scattered devil's control, revealed everything. The flow of celestial energy within his body, the command over existence, the very act of extracting a soul. Nothing was hidden. Everything was laid bare before him. The door to the second step, once sealed tight, now stood partially open, and for the first time a burning desire surged within him. Never before had he wanted to ascend so desperately. Even my celestial guard, he thought, his heart pounding, would not survive even a single strike from such power. Battles at this level could destroy entire cultivation planets. It reminded him of the moment he inherited the power of the ancient god, a power beyond comprehension. Below, even the Huan family members were shaken. Each of them felt as though a new world had revealed itself. But compared to Wang Lin, their gains were insignificant. Opportunities like this were beyond rare. How often could one witness 2 second-step cultivators clash, and not even in person, but through the possession of another's body? If such beings truly fought seriously, they would descend themselves. They would not rely on vessels. The scattered devil turned his gaze downward. He looked at the glowing barrier. A cold snort escaped his lips. His right hand clenched into a fist. Then he punched. A simple motion, yet it produced a sonic boom. Devilish energy surged from the strike, slamming into the barrier. Rumble, cracks spread across the surface, but it did not shatter. Within the barrier, the Huan ancestor's face grew even paler. Huan Fengshen stepped forward, his voice heavy. "Ancestor, hand over Liu Mei." He sighed deeply. Even if the opponent appeared as an ascendant, his treasures, his spells, especially after that devil appeared, were far beyond anything they could handle. Even at full strength, the ancestor would not prevail. The old man turned his gaze toward Liu Mei. His expression darkened. For a moment, he hesitated. Then slowly he spoke. "Liu Mei." But before he could continue, she raised her head. Her eyes were calm, clear, unafraid. She brushed aside the loose strands of hair behind her ear. Her voice was soft yet resolute. "Master, if I leave, I will die." Boom! Another strike slammed into the barrier. Cracks deepened. The light flickered violently. Outside, the scattered devil's laughter echoed. Arrogant, merciless. The ancestor's expression twisted. He was unwilling to surrender her. But if he refused, once that devil broke through, there would be no resistance left. The Qian family would not help. The Shu family, though they had promised aid, had yet to appear. Something was wrong. He was alone. His eyes turned cold. Fixing his gaze upon Liu Mei, he spoke with chilling intent. "If you are destined to die, then give your domain to this old man." With your power, I can complete the identityless heavenly devil Tao, and perhaps, just perhaps, I may yet stand a chance. The truth lay bare he had taken her as a disciple, not out of kindness, but because she possessed a trace of the 10,000 illusion heavenly devil Tao. The Huan lineage once held two supreme domain techniques. The heavenly devil Tao and the identityless Tao both originated from a single source. The identityless heavenly devil Tao, this domain had been born before the fall of the celestial realm. Their ancestor had once merged with a heavenly devil, gaining enlightenment through that fusion. Though celestials did not cultivate domains, he passed this knowledge down to his descendants. After the celestial realm collapsed, it was this very domain that allowed the Huan family to survive, to endure, but their former glory was long gone. Huan Wuqing had seen Lu Mei's potential, her 10,000 illusion heavenly devil domain, and greed had taken root. He suppressed his own cultivation, altered her bloodline, accelerated her growth, all to prepare her, to raise her to the yin-yang stage, to make her perfect, and then to devour her, to seize her domain, to complete his own path. Everything had been planned, every step calculated, but then Wang Lin appeared, and everything collapsed. Now there was no choice left. Better to devour her now, even if incomplete, than lose everything. His gaze upon her turned strange, distorted by obsession, but Lu Mei remained calm. She had long seen the truth. Back in the Alliance star system, she had already sensed it. Kindness without reason did not exist. If it did, it always carried a purpose. She had known, yet she had no power to resist. Even as her cultivation was forcefully raised, even as her fate was sealed, she could only endure, and now, facing death, she spoke softly. You must promise me two things. Before the heavens could settle, before the echoes of battle had even faded, a single decision would decide the fate of all. High above, beneath a trembling veil of light, Huan Wuqing lifted his head. His gaze pierced the shimmering barrier before him, sharp and urgent. Speak, he commanded without hesitation. He understood the danger well. If Liu Mei's 10,000 illusion heavenly devil Tao had reached completion, he could have devoured it effortlessly, absorbed it as nourishment. But now it was incomplete, fragile, unstable. If she resisted, her Tao might shatter before he could seize it, and that would ruin everything. Lu Mei's voice drifted softly through the air like a whisper carried on a dying wind. The first thing, she said, her eyes piercing through the barrier, locking onto Wang Lin. Help me kill him. Her gaze burned with something deep. Not just hatred, but something tangled, complicated, something even she could not fully name. Even now, after all these years, that hatred still clung to her heart like a shadow that refused to fade. It felt unreal, even to herself. Yet buried deep within her soul, she could not forget. She could not forget that young man from centuries ago, the one she met at the Hengyue sect. And more than anything, she could not forget the tenderness he once showed, not to her but to Li Muan. That memory, like a thorn lodged in her heart, refused to be pulled free. Then came the Suzaku tomb. That moment, that turning point, when everything ignited. And when she left planet Suzaku, when she discovered she carried a child, her hatred deepened. It twisted, it grew, until even she could no longer tell where truth ended and illusion began. Her 10,000 illusion ruthless domain had blurred the boundary between emotion and emptiness. Was she ruthless, or was she still bound by feeling? In truth, the difference between ruthlessness and sentiment was nothing more than a thin thread. Yet that thread separated worlds. These conflicting emotions consumed her. Especially when she looked at her child. Was that love, or was it something else entirely? She no longer knew. She could no longer tell. Huan Wuqing did not hesitate. I agree, he said firmly. I will do everything in my power to help you. Lu Mei's gaze softened slightly. The second thing, she continued, if you fail, if you cannot kill him. She reached into her robes and took out a bag of holding. Then give him this. For just a fleeting moment, a trace of gentleness surfaced in her eyes. Huan Wuqing frowned, but he still nodded. Meanwhile, the heavens trembled. The scattered devil controlling Wang Lin's body unleashed blow after blow upon the barrier. Each strike sent ripples crashing across its surface. Cracks spread like lightning. And then, break! With a single word, the world shattered. A sound like countless mirrors breaking echoed across heaven and earth, magnified beyond comprehension. The final protective spell left behind by the Huan ancestor collapsed completely. As the devil surged forward, its aura flooded the world. Dark, overwhelming, suffocating. Through that demonic haze, Wang Lin saw her, Lu Mei, sitting motionless. Behind her stood the Huan family ancestor, his eyes closed, his hand pressed against her forehead. A strange, indescribable aura surrounded him. The scattered devil paused, slightly surprised. Eh? At that very instant, the ancestor opened his eyes. Gray light flickered within them. His body rose into the air, dissolving into something like smoke. Unreal, intangible. The devil's lips curled into a grin. Interesting, little child. Your cultivation, it carries traces of ancient devil arts. But Wang Lin was not looking at him. His gaze remained fixed on Lu Mei. Her eyes were closed, her aura gone, completely gone. Wang Lin said nothing. Even his divine sense remained extended, unmoving. In the sky, the ancestor's smoky form condensed. His gray eyes shone brighter. I have only one spell, he said calmly. Do you dare receive it? The devil laughed. Show me. The ancestor closed his eyes. He had already devoured Liu Mei's domain, reclaimed the celestial spiritual energy he once gave her. Though not fully restored, his strength was close to its peak. But against this devil, even escape was impossible, so he placed everything on this final gamble. Within him, a faint trace of the heavenly devil Tao stirred. After merging Lu Mei's domain with his own, he had managed to create a fragment, a mere fragment, of the identityless heavenly devil Tao. It was small, pitifully small, but it was all he had. A strange aura surged outward. Pain twisted his expression. His body began to wither, rapidly collapsing inward. Flesh shrank, bones surfaced. In the blink of an eye, he became a skeleton. Then even the bones melted. Gone. Completely gone. Only a bag of holding remained, floating gently downward, preserved by the lingering power of his Tao, and then gray smoke erupted into the sky, his origin soul. It churned within the smoke, gradually becoming more transparent, fading, dissolving. And just before it vanished, a powerful sense of danger surged through Wang Lin's heart. But the devil only laughed. Interesting, very interesting. The true identityless heavenly devil Tao was to become a devil without identity, to merge with all life, to draw upon the malice of all beings, and become a carefree, boundless existence. As the ancestor vanished, illusions filled the world. Countless figures appeared from every direction. Each radiated terrifying power. Each rivaled yin-yang stage cultivators. Some even stronger. And this was only the beginning. But suddenly, black smoke burst from Wang Lin's head. The scattered devil leapt out of his body, laughing wildly. Its mouth opened wide, and it began to devour. Illusions vanished by the dozens, swallowed whole. Such delicious nourishment, it roared. You little ones, you truly know how to please this devil. It laughed again, devouring more. If not for my promise, I wouldn't want to kill you at all. With the devil gone, Wang Lin regained control. In a single step, he descended and stood before Lu Mei. She did not move. No breath, no life. At the ascendant stage, her origin soul and domain were one. To devour her domain was to erase her existence entirely. In the sky, the last illusions vanished. The ancestor's faint figure reformed. Weak, bitter. If Liu Mei's Tao had been complete, he would have become a true identityless heavenly devil. Instead, he had become nothing more than food. With a sigh, he turned to flee. But the devil's laughter rang out. Dark energy surged, engulfing him, and in an instant, he was devoured. Little Wang Lin, the devil called out, turning back with a cold grin. This devil has kept its word. With a step, it vanished into nothingness. Silence fell. The Huan family stood frozen, awe filling their hearts. Wang Lin remained still. Looking at Lu Mei, time passed. At last, Huan Fengshen stepped forward hesitantly. Before she left, she made an agreement. If Huan Wuqing failed, we were to give you this. Wang Lin raised his hand. The bag of holding flew into his grasp. Inside, only a pill and a jade slip. Nothing more. He pressed his divine sense into the jade. A voice echoed softly within his mind. The pill can dispel the child's resentment. With a thunder cultivator, most of it can be resolved. A pause. Master once told me to leave my shadow in your heart. I couldn't do it then, but now I have. A gentle breeze swept across the land. Dust lifted. It brushed against Lu Mei's body. And then, a fragment, a diamond-shaped shard drifted away from her forehead, then another, and another. Her body began to break apart, transforming into countless butterfly-like fragments carried away by the wind. They drifted higher, farther, until it seemed as if her figure appeared in the sky. She smiled, played with her hair, and slowly faded into the horizon. Wang Lin looked up. Silent. Above life and death lies karma, he murmured. The past gives birth to the present. Dust returns to dust, earth returns to earth. All of this is but a fleeting dream. He turned and walked away. Did she truly die? He did not seek the answer. It no longer mattered. The dust had settled, the story had ended, his figure grew distant until it vanished beyond the horizon, leaving only memories behind. He did not destroy the Huan family. He was too tired, not in body, but in heart. 800 years of cultivation had worn him down. Far away, on planet Ranyun, within the Fallen Moon village, a strange new family appeared. Only 2 members, a young man with ancient eyes and a child. Elsewhere, within the all-heaven star system, greed wandered, his expression dark. Too many restrictions bound him, each one a ticking blade. Damn that Wang Lin. If I don't find him soon, one of these seals will trigger, and I'll die without even a grave.